What if Anakin Skywalker realized his full power? Let's explore the depths of this scenario in this video.
Brave of you, boy. But I would have thought you had learned your lesson.
I am a slow learner.
Anakin catches the lightsaber his master tosses to him and uses it to defend himself. Giving Dooku a cocky smile, Anakin lunges forward and presses the attack. With a weapon in each hand, he comes at him from both sides. As he advances, Anakin slices the power lines of the room, leaving them in the dark except for the glow of their lightsabers. Dooku watches both glowing blades, blocking each time he sees the flash. While dual-wielding gives him an early advantage, Anakin's inexperience slows him down. Dooku's skills soon overcome the weapon's disadvantage, and Anakin finds himself on the defensive. However, he can't stop fighting while Obi-Wan is down. Instead, he can only grit his teeth and fight through the sparks. Despite his best efforts, he finds himself at a loss. Unfortunately, one parry comes a second too slow, and Anakin watches as Dooku's lightsaber slashes down at his arm. Before the blade connects, the Count is thrown back across the room.
Brave you are, young one, but unprepared for this fight you are.
Dooku watches in surprise as his old master advances, lightsaber ready. Slowly, Dooku gets into a defensive stance as Yoda throws himself at the Count. Like Anakin, the Grand Master moves with incredible speed. But while Anakin lacks skill and experience, Yoda possesses centuries of it. The battle turns against Dooku, who makes a hasty retreat, allowing the Republic to claim victory. As the Jedi and clones prepare to depart, Anakin glances down at his hand, thinking of how close he came to losing it. He then turns to Yoda and considers what he said earlier. He knows the Grand Master was right, and he wasn't ready for that fight. Even Obi-Wan wasn't ready. And if Yoda hadn't helped them, they'd both be dead.
Masters, I request to be taken off the front lines. I need time to continue my training and to learn more about the Force.
Troubled you are, young Skywalker. Sudden this request is.
Anakin glances down to his right hand and clenches it into a fist.
I came too close to losing everything on Geonosis. My connection to the Force. I need to strengthen it, to understand it better. Only then can I truly serve the Order.
Beside him, Obi-Wan steps forward and places a hand on his shoulder.
I can remain behind as well. My place is with you, my Padawan.
However, Anakin shakes his head, but offers a smile.
No, Master. The Republic needs every Jedi we can spare to fight.
Wise your words are. But not alone you will be. Many masters in the temple there are. Some are too old to fight, but much wisdom they have. Learn from them, you can.
And that's just what Anakin does. He pores over the ancient texts of the archives, learning about the different Force and lightsaber techniques, and the historical records about the Republic and Jedi Order. All of this was done under the watchful eye of Jocasta Nu, who, while surly, eventually warms up to the young Jedi, and even allows him access to some texts reserved only for knights. But he doesn't limit himself to book learning. He also puts these lightsaber skills into practice with Kit Fisto and Ki-Adi-Mundi. The three spend long hours in the training yard, practicing different lightsaber techniques and analyzing their advantages and disadvantages. However, neither of these masters can compare to Mace Windu, who begins training Anakin in the ways of Vaapad and Shatterpoints. Although Mace doesn't show him everything, he explains the philosophy of these techniques. There, Anakin learns how to channel the dark side without succumbing to its temptations, and to always look for the bigger picture. Anakin dedicates much of his time to learning this fighting style, but is also fascinated by another Force ability. After the loss of his mother, he finds himself riddled with self-doubt and wonders how he could prevent that from happening again. Stas Ali offers Anakin training in Force healing. However, it's one ability that Anakin struggles to learn. despite his best efforts, the ability doesn't come as naturally as the others. Anakin doesn't let this slow him down and continues to study, spending triple the time learning Force healing. When it comes time for Anakin to undergo the trials, he passes with flying colors. The teachings of his multiple masters carry him through, complete with an ability that far surpasses many others his age. From a young boy who arrived without a master, he leaves the trial with multiple Jedi Masters cheering him on and giving him training. However, the war cuts any celebration short, as Anakin must finally join the war effort. This time, Anakin feels fully prepared for the task and puts his training to good use as the young Jedi proves to be a master on the battlefield. His fighting abilities are unmatched, and though he soon gains a reputation for recklessness, he's also known for being able to accomplish any mission. Across a dozen worlds, he wins victory after victory alongside Obi-Wan. This success catches the attention of Yoda, who suggests Anakin take on an apprentice, a promising Padawan named Ahsoka Tano. Although hesitant, Anakin accepts the offer, and the two prepare for an important mission. Rather than lead another campaign, they are sent to rescue Rata, the son of Jabba the Hutt. As the young Padawan steps out from the shuttle, she is greeted by the sight of her new master. Although only a few years older than her, she can sense the power and wisdom radiating from him. Excitement washes over her at the chance to learn from such an esteemed Jedi, even one as young as him. As she steps down from the boarding ramp, she bows her head.
You're the great Anakin Skywalker.
Oh, you've heard of me.
I watched you train with the other younglings. I've never seen anyone hold their own against Master Plo, especially someone so young.
Comes naturally to me, I guess.
Well, I hope some of that talent rubs off on me, Sky Guy.
As the two depart on their mission, clone scouts locate Jabba the Hutt's son in a monastery on Teth. Taking a company of clones, they descend onto the surface. However, they are greeted by heavy fire from the droid garrison. The two Jedi and their clones find themselves fighting up a cliffside to reach the monastery. Along the way, Anakin takes the lead, using one of the tall hanging vines to climb and lead the clones. Ahsoka manages to snag a ride on an ATTE walker. This gives her the perfect view of her master just as a small fleet of droid stab fighters appear. Ahsoka is nearly blown off the walker just as they circle for an attack. Before they finish her off, Anakin leaps from the ATTE and cuts through the droids. Ahsoka and the clones watch in awe as Anakin leaps from droid to droid, slicing through them while keeping his balance. By the time she reaches the top, Anakin finishes the remaining droids. This leaves Rex and the remaining clones to secure the temple while they search for Rata in the lower levels. The dungeons of the temple are huge, but while Ahsoka prepares to search room by room, Anakin simply raises his hand and channels the Force to search for any life forms. He points to one cell at the end, where Rata is whimpering.
That was impressive.
It's a trick I picked up, Snips.
Indeed. Very impressive.
They whirl around to see the Sith acolyte smiling at them.
I see you have a new pet, Skywalker.
Master, you know this hairless harpy?
Consider her an old friend.
How nice to be remembered. I see you found the child. Don't worry. I won't dare separate such a loving family.
The two Jedi reach for their lightsabers, but Ventress is faster. She activates a button on her wrist comm that triggers a trap door, sending them tumbling to the dungeon below. Ventress smiles and leaps after them. By the time the two recover, Ventress is standing over them, surrounded by battle droids. They are in a large open chamber with a darkened cage on one side. From inside, a piercing roar deafens the room, nearly drowning out the sounds of battle from the rest of the temple. With a wave of her hand, Ventress opens the Rancor's cage. The beast roars, shaking the walls of the dungeon, and charges Anakin and Ahsoka. Simultaneously, the battle droids open fire. Anakin is just starting to recover, barely able to block the blaster bolts. However, Ahsoka is already on her feet and lunging forward. She slices through the first few droids, and this small victory causes her to rush right at Ventress, who watches the chaos with a cruel smile.
brave, but foolish, little one.
Ahsoka, no! We'll take her together. He moves to join her, but is nearly swept off his feet by the Rancor's massive claws. He leaps aside and slices back with his lightsabers across the Rancor's arms before leaping away when the Rancor lunges again. Anakin's agility and connection to the Force are the only things keeping him alive. Meanwhile, Ventress easily blocks Ahsoka's first attacks, letting her tire herself out before unleashing her counterattack. As she strikes, she allows the dark powers to flow through her, sapping Ahsoka's strength before delivering a swift kick to her midsection. As Ahsoka skids aside, Ventress leaps to finish her off, but is halted by Anakin, who shoves her back. He whirls just in time to see the Rancor trying to grab him. Anakin's hand reaches out, and the Rancor pauses mid-swing. Instead, it stares at Anakin curiously, then lowers its head. Ventress watches in shock, but rushes at them, lightsabers in hand. As she tries to attack again, Anakin commands the Rancor to swat her aside with its tail. Ventress flies across the room and realizes this battle is lost. She beats a hasty retreat while the rest of her battle droids are destroyed. With Ventress gone, Anakin and Ahsoka escape the dungeon and see CIS reinforcements pouring into the temple. The battle is raging in the courtyard as Rex and the remaining clones try to hold back the advancing droids. The sky is filled with starfighters preventing reinforcements from landing. Despite Rex's best efforts, his troops are slowly overwhelmed. As the last of his clones are backed into a corner, a deafening roar echoes across the temple. From the dungeon, the Rancor barrels through the droid ranks, with Ahsoka and Anakin riding on its back. Although the droids pour fire on the beast, they are easy prey for the Rancor's claws and tail. Once again, the battle swings back in the Republic's favor, especially once Obi-Wan's reinforcements finally manage to break through and land. Soon, the remaining droids are defeated, and Anakin's forces are evacuated. On Tatooine, Ahsoka, Anakin, and Obi-Wan head inside to return Rota. But Dooku is waiting for them, along with Jabba the Hutt and dozens of guards, who have blasters trained on them. Ahsoka attempts to hand over Rota, but Jabba demands they be executed, claiming he knows the Jedi kidnapped his son. Are you sure about that, Jabba? He reaches for a holodisk and shows the battle they had with Ventress, who sent them tumbling into her dungeon. Jabba's eyes widen, and he turns to Count Dooku. Swinging his tail at him, Dooku leaps over it and ignites his lightsaber. Jabba's guards try to protect him, but the Count unleashes a force shockwave that throws all of them aside before rushing towards Rata, who remains in Ahsoka's arms. His lightsaber flashes, but at the last second, Ahsoka twists to shield the Huttlet and takes the blow to her flank. She screams as she feels a burning across her side, but Dooku is already preparing to deliver the finishing blow. Without another word, Anakin blocks his attack, creating a burst of light and a sharp crackle. Anakin pushes Dooku back and unleashes a flurry of quick moves. Dooku parries Anakin's attacks with expert precision, his face a mask of concentration. His movements are fluid and controlled, but he feels something different in Anakin's attacks. There is an underlying power in them that wasn't there before. How is it possible that he has grown so powerful in a few months? Anakin's strikes come from all angles, each more forceful than the last. While Dooku's defenses remain impeccable, it takes more and more energy to hold him back. As Dooku struggles to keep up, his typical composed demeanor begins to falter. Anakin spins and delivers a powerful overhead strike, forcing Dooku to block with both hands. The impact sends a shockwave through the room and throws the Count back. As he slides, the Sith Lord channels his powers and throws a powerful burst of lightning. But to his surprise, instead of just blocking the attack, Anakin unleashes his counterattack, throwing Force Judgment in response. The energy strikes Dooku across the chest, sending him sliding across the hall. Dooku rolls onto his stomach and begins running away before the battle can continue. Rather than pursue him, Anakin runs over to Ahsoka's side and presses his hands to her injury. His hands glow a faint blue as he tries to treat the cut, but then falters as fatigue sets in. Ahsoka grimaces, and seeing the pain she's in,
Anakin takes a deep breath and presses his hands in again. This time, he allows the pain he felt when he lost his mother to flow through him. As those negative emotions run through his mind, Anakin reins them in and channels them into his powers. He reminds himself that he will never allow such a loss to happen again. With another cry, the light around him grows stronger and more potent. Slowly, Ahsoka's wound begins to close. After a moment, she gasps and feels her side, blinking as she looks at her master. Then, she nods her head gratefully. That's our theory. The Star Wars universe is a galaxy filled with exciting stories and possibilities, and we love exploring them. If you want to accompany us on this journey to a galaxy far, far away, then please like, share, and subscribe to our channel.